The market in 2026 is setting up for one of the most explosive windows for small cap investors in decades. But most people will miss it because they ignore what's happening under the surface of penny stocks. Today I'll walk you through 5 penny stocks trading around $1 to $2 that have real businesses, real products, and real catalysts ahead. You want to hear this to the end because if even one of these clinical trials or new technologies hits, it could move the stock several times over. We are not here to chase rumors or mean pumps. We are here to understand what we are buying, what we are paying, and why the upside might justify the risk. If you're serious about building wealth over time, hit subscribe and tap like now. We're building a community of investors who look past the noise, read the filings, and focus on facts, not hype. Before we dive in, a quick reminder. Penny stocks are risky. Many never recover. This is not financial advice. Do your own research and only risk money you can afford to lose. Think like a business owner, not a gambler. Let's start with stock number 5, ProKidney. Ticker PROK. On the surface, it's just another small biotech, but the story is different when you look closer. ProKidney is developing cell therapies for chronic kidney disease, especially in patients with diabetes who face a high risk of kidney failure. The main product candidate is called rilparencel, and it's already in phase 3 trials. That matters, because most biotech penny stocks never make it this far in the clinic. The company just reported fourth quarter revenue of about $893,000. That beat analyst expectations. The revenue is still tiny, but revenue is not the main thing here. The real value lies in the clinical progress. In 2025, ProKidney had a positive phase 2 study for a program called REGN-007, and more important, it reached alignment with the FDA on an accelerated approval pathway for rilparencel. Accelerated approval can shave years off the normal path to market. As a business owner, here's how I'd look at it. They've already de-risked the drug with earlier study data. They are now running a large phase 3 trial called PROACT 1. Management expects to complete enrollment this year and read out a key kidney function measure, the eGFR slope, in the second quarter of 2027. So you have a clear roadmap of catalysts, enrollment completion, interim data, and then pivotal data. Operationally, the company is focused on one big mission, trying to give a new treatment option to patients with advanced chronic kidney disease and diabetes. This is a huge unmet need with a large potential market. They're also working on cryopreserved versions of rilparencel, which can help with storage, shipping, and standardization. That could improve margins down the line if the product is approved. How do we think about valuation? At around $1 to $2 per share, the stock is pricing in a lot of risk. You're not paying for a cash flow machine today. You're paying for a shot that this platform becomes a real commercial product in a multi-billion-dollar market. If phase 3 data are successful and the FDA stays supportive, the market could re-rate the stock sharply higher. The near-term catalyst is progress updates on the PROACT 1 trial and any regulatory news. This is a high-risk clinical milestone-driven story. Next up, stock number 4, Coherus Oncology, ticker CHRS. You might think Coherus is just a small, struggling biotech, but they're transforming from a past focus on biosimilars into a lean oncology company that targets immune resistance and cancer. That shift matters because oncology drugs can carry higher margins and stronger pricing power. In the most recent quarter, Coherus reported an earnings loss per share of 34 cents, slightly better than what Wall Street expected. Revenue came in at about $12.8 million, a bit below consensus. On the surface, those numbers look weak. But look at the direction. In 2025, they doubled sales of their cancer drug LOQTORZI while slashing debt by over 90%, down to $38.8 million. For a penny stock, that kind of balance sheet repair is huge. Their product lineup includes UDENYCA, LOQTORZI, casdozokitug, and a pipeline asset called CHRS 114. They also have multiple license and collaboration deals. That means they are not just betting on one product, they're building a portfolio and working with partners across geographies. As an owner, I want to see, are they moving toward a clear focus and are they using cash wisely? Management says they are now a pure play oncology company with growing revenues from LOQTORZI and two promising pipeline candidates that should have several clinical readouts in 2026. If those readouts show strong data, they could unlock partnership money, milestone payments, or just a higher valuation from investors. On valuation, the stock trades like a distressed asset, not an emerging oncology platform. The market is skeptical, which is why the share price sits in penny stock territory. But their debt reduction and product growth show they are not standing still. The key catalysts to watch: LOQTORZI sales trends each quarter, any new deals they sign, and clinical data from the pipeline. If they can steadily grow revenue while keeping costs in check, the earnings power could surprise to the upside over a multi-year period. Now, stock number 3, Vertical Aerospace, ticker EVTL. You might think this is just another flying taxi dream, but Vertical Aerospace is an aerospace technology company with a very specific goal: building zero-emission electric vertical takeoff and landing, or eVTOL, aircraft for urban air mobility. The flagship design is their Volo aircraft. The company has been running piloted flight tests with a full-scale prototype for about 20 months under the oversight of the UK Civil Aviation Authority. That last part is key. This isn't a paper concept. They are performing real flight tests with regulators watching every step. They are now close to finishing the transition flight test phase. That means they're working through the tricky part between pure hover mode and full wing-borne flight. Every flight generates data that feeds directly into certification of the final commercial design. Their chief engineer has said they now have a clear and tested path to certification due to the close work with the regulator. From a business owner view, there are two main challenges: capital and certification. Vertical is actively exploring capital raising through markets, strategic partners, and possible government support. Certification is a long, expensive process, but once you clear it, you have a significant moat. Not many companies will have a certified eVTOL aircraft. We don't have profits or classic value metrics here. This is a pre-revenue, high capex story. The stock trades at a level that reflects both the big dream and the big risk. The potential prize is a slice of future urban air mobility. That can include airport shuttles, city-to-city hops, and tourism. The catalyst path is pretty clear: completion of transition tests, major certification milestones, and any big funding or partnership announcements. If they secure enough capital to reach certification, the market might start to price this less like a dream and more like an upcoming aerospace platform. Moving on to stock number 2, OmniAb, ticker OABI. You might think OmniAb is just a small tools company, but they are building an antibody discovery platform that many pharma and biotech companies now rely on. Instead of selling a single drug, OmniAb licenses technology that helps others discover new antibodies and target binding proteins. In the recent quarter, OmniAb posted revenue of $8.4 million, slightly below the $9 million consensus. That's not exciting by itself. What is interesting is the scale of their partner base. They ended 2025 with 107 active partners and 407 active programs. Each of those programs is a small lottery ticket. If a partner's drug succeeds, OmniAb can earn milestones and royalties. Management says their differentiated technologies let them grow partner count while keeping a disciplined cost structure. That's code for leverage. Once the platform is built, each extra partnership can add revenue without a big jump in expenses. They recently launched a new platform called Omni Ultra. That should help them attract more partners and serve new types of programs. They also run something called the Exploration Partner Access Program, which lets companies test the platform in a lower friction way. From a business owner mindset, this is a picks and shovels model in biotech. They provide the tools. Partners run the expensive trials. If even a small portion of those 407 programs reach late-stage development or approval, the royalty stream could ramp up over time. The risk is timing. Drug development takes many years, and not every program will win. Valuation-wise, the market is not paying much for the long-tail royalty potential. At a price around $1.50, you're buying a pipeline of shots on goal that others fund. The near-term catalysts, new partnership announcements, early royalty or milestone payments from maturing programs, and adoption of Omni Ultra. This is more of a slow compounder story if it works, not a quick flip. Now let's get to stock number 1, which I call the most explosive and riskiest on this list. Okugen, ticker OCGN. This is a high-risk, high-reward play tied to gene and cell therapy, especially in eye diseases where patients have very limited options. Okugen works on vaccines, biologics, and gene and cell therapies, but the key near-term driver is OCU410, a modifier gene therapy for geographic atrophy, a severe form of dry age-related macular degeneration. This is a leading cause of vision loss in older adults, and current treatments are limited. On March 24, Okugen shared 12-month data from its Phase 2 Armada trial for OCU410. The results were encouraging. In the optimal dose group, they saw a 31% reduction in lesion growth compared with the control group. That means the disease appears to progress more slowly. They also saw a 27% slower rate of ellipsoid zone loss, which shows better preservation of retinal structure. On top of that, 55% of treated patients had at least a 30% reduction in lesion size compared to control. Those are meaningful signals in a tough disease. Safety is equally important. Phase 1 showed clean safety data, and across Phase 2 so far, there have been no serious treatment-related adverse events like endophthalmitis, retinal detachment, vasculitis. Okugen plans to start a Phase 3 registrational trial for OCU410 in the third quarter of 2086. The company has also said it aims to submit 3 biologics license applications within 3 years. That's an aggressive plan. Beyond OCU410, they have OCU400 in Phase 3 for retinitis pigmentosa and Phase 1 Saline 2 for leber congenital amaurosis, plus OCU410ST and other assets like OCU410ST and other assets like OCU200 and the neocartilage program. An analyst at Lucid Capital recently raised his price target on Okugen from $15 to $22 while keeping a buy rating. He did that after positive Phase 2 data for OCU410. Analysts are often wrong, but that target shows how large the upside might be if the data continue to hold and the company executes on Phase 3. From a business owner perspective, Okugen is a pipeline story. You are not buying stable cash flows. You are buying the chance that one or more gene therapies in large eye disease markets succeed. If they do, the stock today at under $2 could look cheap in hindsight. But make no mistake, this is speculation if you don't understand the science, the trial risks, and the funding needs. Gene therapy trials are expensive and failures can crush the stock. So how do you use this list? Think in terms of buckets. A small portion of a portfolio can go into high-risk, high-reward names like Okugen and Vertical Aerospace. Another slice can go into platform businesses like OmniAb. Then you have focused therapeutics like ProKidney and Coherus, where clear clinical and commercial milestones can re-rate the stock over time. The key is a disciplined approach. You want to size positions small, spread risk, and give these companies time. The stock market is a voting machine in the short term, driven by headlines and fear. But over the long term, it is a weighing machine. It will weigh real products, real cash flows, and real medical impact. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit subscribe, tap like, and share this with someone who wants to learn how to think about penny stocks like a business owner, not a gambler. Invest wisely, stay focused on what matters, and I'll see you in the next one.